and welcome back to another episode of A Day in the Life podcast. This is where we bring different people to the couch every single week, finding out a little bit more about their life. And I'm very excited to bring to the green couches today Alan Adams of the Flower Show. And we are going to dig deep. You're going to tell us all about what you do, what the park is famously known for, and maybe some of the bits that we don't know it for as well for. But for anyone that is tuning in for the first time, A Day in the Life podcast was created to showcase that being on social media isn't always showcasing the nuances, the nitty-gritty, what goes on behind the scenes. You just get to see the perfect finishing point, which, from speaking to Alan at lots of different events, the Southport Flower Show is a triumph, as many other events are that are hosted at the park, but it doesn't just appear like that overnight. There is so much that goes on before those gates open, and literally thousands and thousands of people roll through those gates. So, Alan, for people that don't know you, which at this point I think is a very, very small amount, but who are you and what is your job?
Okay, so my name is Alan Adams. I am the General Manager of Southport Flower Show and Victoria Park Management. So not only am I and the team responsible for organising the UK's largest independent flower show, which is Southport Flower Show, each year, held at Victoria Park. The team and I are also responsible for managing and maintaining Victoria Park, our wonderful 34-acre estate in the heart of Southport, every single day of the year. So I don't just work 4 days a year that many people think I do with a flower show. So no, it's
you work very hard on those 4 days.
I work very hard on 4 days, yes, indeed, and the team do. The team and everybody supporting us, everybody works so hard to deliver such a huge and successful event. Yeah. But no, it's not just that. You know, it's the job isn't a job. Yeah. It's unfortunately it's a life. So I'll ask my wife. It's a life. It's 24/7 really, because there's always something going on the park.
And having met you, you really live and breathe and embrace that life. It's not a chore. I feel like it's almost like ingrained in you, because you've not just arrived at the flower show and just been given this job. You were part of Victoria Park and the tapestry of it for a lot longer than that.
Oh yeah. It's 2005, so 21 years ago. I started off at the flower show as a volunteer, and I hadn't been. I think I'd been once, literally in about the early 80s, with my mum and my sister. I think we went for a day out and saw the show jump in back in about 81, 82. I was about 11 or 12 years ago, only a few years ago, not too long. So 2005, I became a volunteer. I was a volunteer in the Amateur Growers Market. Just for a couple of days. I ended up actually was off work. It's a weird story, but I had carpal tunnel syndrome, and I couldn't work because I was a civil servant by trade, really, and 30 years doing civil service. I was off work, and a friend of mine called Terry Tasker, who was the horticultural manager at the time, he's still involved in the show as our horticultural ambassador. Terry, one of the UK's best begonia growers, but also a friend of mine as well, and a friend of my father's. And asked me to volunteer. So 2005, I did a couple of days, volunteer in the amateur marquee, sat behind the counter, going, all the arenas over there, the food's over there, the toilets over there, have a nice day, thank you, loved it, fell in love with it, and never looked back. And over those 21 years, I then have been assistant manager of the marquee, and this is one of the largest marquees on the showground, and the largest amateur growers competitions in the UK. So a lot of responsibility, big marquee, lots of people involved. So I started there and just gradually grew, and then I was a manager of there, then I was a grounds manager. I've done various different roles over 20 years. But then in 2017-18, I was asked to become a trustee director. And hopefully, we'll talk about it a bit and the interview goes on about we're a charity. So I was a trustee director for a couple of years as well. And then in 2020, I became general manager. And that was it. And there's probably a story from 2020 onwards, really, Lizzie.
But, really?
But there is, So coming up 21 years involved in one format or another. I never missed. That's 21 years in the show. And it's become a family thing. My wife's involved in supporting as volunteer and alike, and other family members have been involved in supporting the show over the years. But I live and breathe. Fortunately, sometimes unfortunately, because it does take over your life.
Yeah, I think that's why when we started the podcast and the different people that we've had sat in your position, they've all had similar tales where they've grown into the role. You know, you've quite literally grown and seen things grow over the years, but showcasing to, I think, a lot of young people that are seeing that, you know, through social media, they feel like success is overnight, and that's been, you know, a real building block of learning the trade, learning different areas, meeting different people, and starting to sort of see where you fit within that role as well. It must bring a lot more sort of ease when you actually get into that position, because you know who to speak to, what their role is, and how they should be executing it.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, just got been doing it for 21 years and been in charge for 6 years and delivered 4 shows and successful shows. Now we're getting better, as we'll talk about. It's not. I'm still learning. There's still so much to do, you know. And again, what you have to realise is that, you know, although I may be in charge, you know, of everything, and you know, apart from our trusty directors who are very supportive of myself and the team, and you know, let us get on with the job, which is great. But it's the team, you know, and it's a team effort. It's not one person. I'm fortunate. I've you know, over the years, I've been involved as a volunteer and a trustee, and also certainly in the 6 years plus I've been in charge. Been a lot of people there supporting, you know, staff members past and present certainly are amazing, couldn't do it without them. Obviously volunteers at the show, suppliers, but also on the park as well. You know, the show is one thing, but managing the park every day is another, and there's always things to learn. You'll never stop learning about the job, because there's always something. And curveballs that get thrown at you, you know, plans to progress and evolve, which we're always looking at doing. And it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job at all.
Well, let's then really talk about the flower show. So, you said there, largest independent flower show. Yeah. For anyone that's not been, so my instinct when I think flower show is, all I will be greeted with is walls of flowers. I'm not really a keen gardener. Very, very sorry. Don't come for me. Everything I buy dies. I would be terrible in a garden. But there is so much more now. Like you said, that show is growing. It's getting better and better every year. And what direction have you taken that in?
Well, if you look back years ago, I mean, we're going now for 102 years. So the first ever flower show was 1924, and years ago, you can imagine it, you know, there's pictures there, we've got archive footage, that the show was a grand floral fete and show jumping extravaganza. That's what it was years ago, 100 years ago. And when I do various talks around the region, and which is great, because I love doing talks to people to explain how we operate, how we work, and the history of the show, and about the fact we're a charity. But certainly, you know, it's not just a flower show anymore. No. We cannot survive being a flower show. We have to still obviously promote it as Southport Flower Show, because, you know, that's a really, very valuable brand that we have. Yeah. You know, you think about the brands that we do. Victoria Park is the most valuable asset, physical asset, and without the park being in good condition, we don't have the show. Yeah. But without the show that pays for most of the park, we can't do it. So the Southport Flower Show brand is great. It's less. I'm not saying it's less of a flower show, because it's really important. You know, and we are the UK's largest, you know, independent flower show. A lot of celebrities and people who come always say that we're the Chelsea of the North. We're better than Chelsea, because we've got an all-round appeal. And you know, the board certainly took some direction and strategic direction years ago to say we have to add on certain things. So the flower show is great, you know, with the wonderful show gardens, the grand floral displays, the amateur growers competition, the floral art, the honeybees and baking and all those. That's great as a flower show. But we cannot operate just being a flower show. We can't certainly attract 55,000 visitors each day to do that. So it's just been added on over the years, and more content's been added. And I think really more now that we are Southport Flower Show and Family Festival, Summer Festival, really. You know, and I think that's where that we've got to kind of brand ourselves in the future to really kind of encapsulate exactly what we do. Because you do it, and I talk about Southport Flower Show, and I do, again, talks, and people go, what do I want to come and see flowers for? Yeah. It's more than that. There's so much to do.
It is. And I was playing a little bit of devil's advocate there, because obviously I have been to the flower show a fair few times, and you can feel the energy as you're walking to it. You know, if you can get a car parking space nearby, you're very, very lucky. Most of the time, you've got to be further afield, and that energy, as you're walking to it, rises and rises, and you can feel people's excitement, and you know, that is everybody of all ages. And for a lot of families, it's a full day out. You've got grandma all the way through to tiny tot, and there really is something for everybody throughout the whole day. And I've taken my dad loads of time. He loves seeing the falconry that you have, and he absolutely loves that, because you don't get to see that sort of in your own town. There isn't another one where you can just, all right, I'm going to go to that one now. It really is. You're bringing things in from everywhere.
Yeah, I always say we've got everything there from anybody who's 80 months to 108 years old.
Yeah,
that's how I'd say it, because we have, you know, from kids entertainment. You know, we've introduced last couple of years a children's trail. You know, children are free. You know, under 16s are free, accompanied by an adult, and that's really good as well. That makes us different to a lot of other shows. And I think also our ticket options, whereby you buy a ticket and you can use it any one day. Yeah, that's always really good. That's very different to other shows that way. We'll give that flexibility. But oh yeah, crikey! I mean, a children's trail. You know, brought in alpacas last year. We've got potting shed where kids can do things. Forest school. You know, tennis skills. We've got Liverpool FC Foundation coming this year to do things. They may bring one of the trophies potentially. I'm sorry, Everton fans, but they may do.
My cameraman's just falling over in the corner.
I know. I'm trying to avoid Mike's eyes, so I'm not going to look at him by saying that. But you know, there's lots of things to do. That's just a fraction of what we do. You know, the arena with the birds of prey you mentioned, the dog displays, the show jumping. You know, and there's so much. There's so much there. So the children are very well looked after. You know, and food and drink, because kids always want food and drink and eating. But everything from adults. You know, if you want to come and spend a day looking at show gardens, being inspired from creative things that the landscapers do, to looking at great displays, or entering the amateur. The amateur competition is great. Fantastic. Enter it. If you've got tomatoes or dahlias or chrysanthemums growing in your garden, enter them in the flower show. Give it a go, because you can win money and get a ticket at the same time and be part of the Southport. You know, Southport Flower Show, it's an institution, you know, and obviously it's been going. It's the longest event that we've had in Southport, clearly, for 102 years. You know, it's the backbone of the town and the events programme, really. We've got some fantastic other events that we host, and we also, you know, we support as well. But the Flower Show is great, and, you know, to be custodian of something like Southport Flower Show and Victoria Park, it's an immense honour. It really is. I'm so proud, and the team and the supporters of us are just. I'm in debt to them, really. But to be there, it's amazing. It's a dream job.
Yeah, and those volunteers, they couldn't be more proud to be there as well. I was very lucky you invited me along last year to meet and sort of chat to some of those volunteers throughout the day, and their stories of why they had chosen to volunteer. Some of them were incredibly sort of beautiful to listen to, slightly sad, a bit heartbreaking. I mean, one lady in particular, you know, she'd gone to the flower show every year with her husband. Her husband had unfortunately passed away, and she wanted to come back because that's where she felt closest to him. And she was very, very lucky. On the day that she walked back through those gates, another volunteer took her under her wing, and now she's been volunteering there for, I think, the last 12 years. You know, she comes back every year.
Yeah, I think it's that little Joyce.
Yeah.
Little Joyce from Manchester. She comes from Denton in Manchester every year, and she keeps all the passes, and she's wonderful. She loves it. And you're right, that's a story. But that, again, one of many.
One of many.
You know, one of many. And I think, and again, I always say this, because with being a volunteer myself, and, you know, in my previous life, I was a volunteer with Civil Service Sports and Leisure, and did various things. I've always volunteered, you know, in my civil service career, and again, prior to taking over, I was a volunteer. I started off as a volunteer, you know, and I know how vitally important they are, where they can give an hour in any volunteer role, not just flower show. This is anything, whether you're supporting a charity, whether you can give, you know, 10 minutes or 100 minutes. You know, or 10,000 minutes, you know, every one of those minutes is crucial to the charity or to the cause that you're supporting. The flower show, we couldn't operate without the volunteers. No. They're amazing, you know, and what's really, really good about it is that they've all got that same passion. Yeah. You know, they really have, you know, and they love coming. They like kind of sitting in the information booth, telling people where to go politely, you know, or selling programs, or meeting greeters, or being in a marquee, stewarding and walking around, and just supporting, helping. We're blessed again with various other groups. We have about 200 volunteers support the show each year. And if you volunteer, you get passes for the 4 days. You get a ticket for your friends and family. But more important, you're giving back to the town.
Yeah.
You're supporting the UK's largest independent flower show, Southport's biggest event of the year. But you're supporting the town, you're supporting Southport.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get that and really kind of look forward to doing it. And I think as well, what is really important, and I say this to anybody, and this is really, really true, is that, it doesn't matter whether you are a supplier, a celebrity guest, a trader, an exhibitor, a volunteer, you're all treated equally.
Yeah.
And as soon as they walk through those gates, they become part of the Flower Show family. And that's really, to me personally, that's really, really important. I treat everybody, whether you're a celebrity guest and Anton de Beck coming through the gates, or whether it's Joyce from Manchester who's coming along to do 2 or 3 shifts over the 4 days, you're exactly the same. You're all part of that Flower Show family.
Well, that's it. And I think a lot of people forget that people are coming in from further afield to enjoy the Flower Show. So that's filling up our Airbnbs, it's filling up our hotels, it's filling up our restaurants in the evening. It's bringing in financial reward into the town. And like you say, it's not just on the park, that filters, back through, which I'm excited this year to then see, whether around the market area where that now has all been pedestrianised, that people in the evening will be able to float back through, eat outside and enjoy different parts of the town on the way home. Yeah,
so in terms of figures, the Flower Show itself over the 4 days, or say the week, really generates probably in excess of £5 million to the local economy.
Yeah.
So, to give that back to Southport in terms of what we do, so we bring the people in, and then hotels, restaurants, retail, trade, and transport. So it generates that. Studies show, we've done that for years, it proves that. I think now also with all the other events that we host, and we might touch on that later on,
100%.
About the other events we host, I'm reckoning how many people we're getting in. I would say this year with the open golf coming as well, because with the official campsite and all the other events we host, we're probably going to get in the region of 500,000 people through our gates.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Now, but in return, in terms of what we said back to Southport and economic value, we are probably worth in a region of £25 million to Southport.
Yeah.
Now, considering that we're a charity, considering that you nor I, or Mike, our cameraman, is a Sefton council taxpayer, and we don't get a single penny because we're not linked to the council, which we'll hopefully come on to. We are totally independent, we're a charity, we don't get any other money. So to actually give that back by putting the events on and hiring a park out and doing all these things and the flower show back to the town is staggering, really, and that's really probably more important to get that message across than most things, really, because I think a lot of people still don't realise. But the show itself, though, is just massive and huge for the town.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we're going to hand over to a little break because I'm a little bit intrigued. Before we get on to sort of how it supports the town and things like that, because the flower show now has grown so much, you've got celebrities coming through your door. And I know for people that are listening, we always like to dig a little bit deeper behind the scenes. We as mere mortals don't get to meet all of these celebrities. You've met those that have been a joy, maybe those that you've been, happy to wave away.
Yes.
Or all of them bringing value in every shape or form. So we'll be back in a second to find out who has been to the Southport Flower Show and who's coming next.
Love is in the air, and MAF Photography is ready to capture every magical moment. From the first kiss to the last dance, we create stunning wedding photos you'll treasure forever. Fun, natural, romantic. We make your love story shine. Getting married? Visit www.mafphotography.co.uk and quote "Love is in the air" for an exclusive 10% discount. MAF Photography, capturing love, laughter and happily ever after.
And we're back. We've been chatting all things flower show. We've been chatting all about what's coming up for Victoria Park. But I wanted to know, and I think there's more people at home that want to know than just me, is you get a lot of celebrities through the flower show doors. And some of the celebrities have had to Google, some of them are household names. You have sort of a real wide variety. And I suppose First of all, I want to know who's been your favourite. Are you allowed to say? Are you allowed favourites?
I've had a few favourites, to be honest, I think. I think the team have as well over the years. I mean, if you think back years ago, we used to have one celebrity guest just opening the show.
Yeah.
We still got that question now, who's opening the show? And since COVID, we certainly haven't had a show opener, because I feel that every day is special, really. And just people opening show on a Thursday, you lose that momentum. So we want to give our guests something back every day over recent years. Favourites, crikey. Jeanette and Aliash from Strictly Come Dancing have been twice in recent years. Most loveliest people you'll ever meet. In previous years as well, the Hairy Bikers, Dave, bless him, and Cy King, they've both been absolutely divine. So many. Rachel Riley, Pasha Kovalev, they came a couple of years ago. Great. Michaela Strachan, Kelvin and Liz Fletcher, who came last year on the opening day last year from Fletcher's on the Farm, Emmerdale, and the like. Blown away by the show.
Wow.
And it's really good as well, Lizzie, that these celebrities come because obviously you're paid for celebrities.
Yeah.
And, you have the pleasure of meeting them and saying hello, and then let them go off with their escorts and do what they need to do. The majority are absolutely so accommodating and lovely. The majority are, and they come to this show and they look at it and they go, wow, we didn't know what to expect. Keith Brymer Jones, who's a potter from the Great Pottery Throwdown, Patrick Berry from the Sewing Bee, who've been in recent years. Wow. Honestly, they say to me, wow, this is just amazing. The feedback, and you go away, and when you've got them hugging you when they're leaving, don't want to go, and you're kind of kicking them out the showground. Go now, leave, please, we've got work to do. That's a really testimony, I think, to what we do and what we deliver, and also the way we treat people as well. There's been some in recent years, and some over the course of the 20 odd years, and we've always had celebrities. There's clearly a few who've not necessarily.
We won't ask you to name them.
Oh no, never name names, but they're just in it for the business and no love and warmth. But at the end of the day, we're grateful. We're grateful for them for coming. We'll never turn anybody away. And at the end of the day, people like watching celebs, and they like to hear the stories, and I think also that the tie-in, what we do, and we try to theme the celebrities a little bit these days, whereby on the Thursday it's a flower show, it's when the judging, it's when the competition is finished and the awards are being presented. So we do focus on kind of the outdoor. So Adam Frost this year, for example, from Gardener's World, is coming on Thursday. Brilliant. We've got Yolo Williams and Megan McCubbin, who do Spring Watch. So very popular. Yolo especially is a very, very popular guy, and Megan McCubbin is the daughter of Chris Packham.
Yes.
And we've also got Bryony May Williams in the Cookery Theatre. And Bryony she's a disability advocate. She kind of quarter-finalist of the Bake Off a few years ago. She's been off various TV programmes. And Bryony's going to be our Cookery Theatre host for the 4 days. For 4 days this year. So Bryony's lovely. Again, great people on Thursday. Friday, we theme our celebrities as fun. Because obviously on a Friday we also have our fantastic Ladies' Day event. Which
I was asking about before, and to my disappointment, along with many of my friends, fully sold out. You're gone.
It's got better and better. It's an event within the event. And this year we've extended the marquee slightly. Got about 320 ladies and gents. Gents, we're all welcome. But it's a 3-course meal, hospitality, fantastic entertainment. Great sponsors that we've had throughout the whole show, actually, not just a Ladies' Day. They are gold dust, those tickets these days. So we've created an event within an event which is equally as popular as many others in Southport. So we're really good at that. But on the Friday, it's a fun day. So again, Friday, we go down the fun celebrity route. And although we've got Phil Vickery, who's a TV chef, been coming for years, Phil, loves our show.
Well, that's great that you've got returns.
We've got returns. Phil will quote to anybody on an interview, there's probably just 2 fantastic shows in the UK, one down south that he really likes, and Southport Flower Show. And to get that back, and we've just booked 2 celebrities for Friday of fun. I'm not quite sure when the recording's going out, but I'm not going to...
You can tell me later.
I'll tell you later.
I'll be in on the neck.
I'll tell you later, but they are fun, and one's very popular names, and I'm very excited to announce them. When the time is right. Saturday, of course, this year we try to do it more of a family and food. The weekend this year we changed it slightly. We've got Anton de Beck coming from Strictly. Anton came years ago when he was a dancer. He's crossing a bit more now. The than he was then, but extremely popular, really lovely guy. Anton's our kind of headline, if you like, on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then we have Andy Day, who's Andy, part of the Andy and the Odd Socks group, and Andy Day's Dino Adventures, very popular on CBeebies and children's TV. So Andy's doing a couple of shows on Saturday with very sort of Joe Swift. You know, we've got Arit Anderson coming. We've got celebrities, gardeners, cookery chefs, you name it, we've got them.
Well, so I went from there going, right, I need to come on the Thursday. And then you told me about what was happening on the Friday. And I thought, oh, no, I need to come to the Friday as well. And then you said about Saturday. And then I was like, right, how do people get to come to the flower show? So, because I'm going, do you get one day ticket? Can I get a weekend one? What can I do?
So tickets are available from the website. So we've got various ticket options. We've got VIP hospitality, obviously, in the luxury with across the 4 days, various different things that's going on. So VIP is always nice. You get that exclusive premium experience. It's in there with fantastic food from Divine Catering, again,
fabulous,
local caterers, and they get well looked after. That's great, you know. So for me, I would always push people to get the VIP. It's more expensive.
You don't have to tell me to
Indeed. We have a 4-day pass, which is a patron's pass. So anybody local, you know, to get a 4-day, that allows you entry into the VIP area, nice clean toilets, and a chance of private seated area. So it's a 4-day patron's pass. But really, it's a general any day ticket. And what makes us so different to other shows is that our ticket is flexible. So you buy a ticket, and if it's raining, for example, though it's not this year, I've ordered the weather.
It's never going to rain.
I've ordered the weather again.
You've done very well the last few years.
The last few years we did okay. And
so
again,
you're speaking to, keep speaking to them.
You know, the order's in, so we'll see. We'll see in August. But again, if you can't make it on Thursday, you can use your ticket on the Friday, or you can use it on the Saturday or Sunday. It's valid for any one day. So it makes us unique. Other shows, you have to buy a ticket for that day, and you have to use it that day, no refunds. But also really good with us is that tickets are free for under 16s. So basically, under 16s free. They don't actually need a ticket, to be honest. And again, kids under 16, so much content for a family day out. You know, for about £50, bring in 3 or 4 kids along. Wow, great. It's actually cheaper if you're a Southport resident as well.
I was going to ask about that. So anyone living in this area, what can we sort of, or how is that the same way on the website? Can't you buy them from different areas?
So we do a deal. We have done for a number of years now, because obviously it's really important. We are the Southport Flower Show, and what we do, again, I think we've alluded to that we support local community. We do as much as we can, although we are a charity ourselves. We like to give back to Southport people, and we've done it for a number of years now and offered a Southport resident discount ticket, and this year it's £20. The gate price this year, if you walk up on the gate, it's £32. So it's £20 for anybody with a PR8 or PR9 resident postcode.
Fabulous.
It's not online, not available online. You have to go to the various outlets. So you've got the Atkinson in town. You've got the Waterstones bookshop opposite the train station. We have Checkers DIY in Churchtown.
Yes.
We have the Southport Lion shop in Ainsdale, and we have the lingerie shop in
Birto Village, yes.
Which I can't quite remember the name. I do apologise for the team there.
We'll put everything in the notes anyway.
But so you can get them there, £20, prove that you're living PR8, PR9, and buy tickets locally.
Fantastic.
Or pop into the office on the park. You can always buy one there.
Say hello.
But, again, it's something there, especially for kids again. We talked about Andy Day on the Saturday, but Sunday we have Justin Fletcher, who's also known as Mr. Tumble.
Mr. Tumble.
Justin, he sells out year after year after year, and he's brilliant. He's coming back again on Sunday this year. So we've got something for kids, Saturday, Sunday, want to do shows. We've got anything from celebrities to cookery theatre, demonstrations, you name it. There's something for everybody every single day.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to go to one more break now, and I'm going to encourage everybody, head on over to the website. It's in the notes, in the video. It's very obvious to find. You can just put into Google Southport Flower Show and get your tickets now, because it sounds like it's going to be a wonderful 4 days.
Yeah, it is.
We'll be back in a sec. Welcome to A Day in the Life, our sponsor slot. This is where, if you have a business, we could be featuring you. This is an opportunity to showcase what your business does, have it highlighted by us. So get in touch at A Day in the Life, and this is where your business could really shine. And we are back with Alan. I hope during that little break you were able to purchase your Southport Flower Show tickets, because you're about to tell us about one or two more things that are kind of new-ish to the park this year. You've kind of rejigged them, changed them up a little bit. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the show, you've got to try to look at new ideas and different things. And this year, we've got a couple of different things coming to the show, just to lift it a bit, you know, a bit more attractions for the visitors and just create a better atmosphere and ambience. So we've got a new Buskers Corner. So on one of the beach gate entrance, where we got a lot of visitors coming in, they're going to be welcomed by kind of local acts this year on a very kind of background, low-level music, and our Buskers Corner, which has been very kindly supported by Moonlight Events.
Brilliant.
And Scott and his team. So that's just kind of welcoming them in, giving perhaps people who don't get a chance to go on the main piazza stage a chance to perform, you know, duos, you know, solo acts, low level, and just kind of just welcoming people in with some nice tunes and a bit of background music.
And potentially in front of a very large crowd.
In front of thousands of people, potentially. So, and again, anybody there, you know, if they're really good, they can progress to the piazza stage next year when we've got all the other main acts. And the piazza stage is wonderful. That atmosphere in the VIP, really, as you know, it really kind of lifts the show massively. So the Buskers Corner is a new idea that I've had for a couple of years, really, but I've just not really been able to do it myself because of time and just so much to do. So Moonlight Events have helped us and supported us this year by doing that. And then the other one that we're really excited about is the new area called the Lakeside Reset.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, it's really good. And again, we've had a couple of things like yoga, Pilates tucked away in previous years, but this year decided to move it, and I've moved it over to the lake, hence called the Lakeside Reset. Not my name, Liz, who works in the team. She came up with the idea, but the name. But I came up with the idea. I wanted to move it in that area, create it, you know, with a teepee and Sharon Stock from the Derry Holistic Hub.
Who's been mentioned a lot on this couch.
Yeah, Sharon's fantastic, and Sharon's brought together a team and curated that. And over the 4 days, we're doing anything from mindfulness to a bit of meditation to Pilates, bit of yoga, and it's really given a different vibe to that area, and where people can, you know, just go away and just get themselves out of it. I'm also having a little teepee as well next to it, a small one, which is hopefully for just giving perhaps some of our younger visitors the chance to take 5. Yeah. So we're going to have a couple of beanbags in there just to get away. Anybody with kind of sensory needs and just want to get away from the crowd, I'm just going to have a little space for them this year. So you have to kind of think about things all the time and look at it. We mentioned before in the break that I only get one go at this a year. You know, it's got to be right every year, but to enhance and tweak, you know, you've got to think, well, does that work here? Can we move things around? And, you know, as I mentioned, I'm already thinking about 2027. It takes 15 to 18 months to plan a show. So, but yeah, let's deliver this year. And this year's going to be fabulous. It really is.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to segue away because we know that the flower show is the main sort of attraction for Victoria Park. It brings a lot of people in, but so much more that park does throughout the year. You've got so many different events. Do you want to touch on a few of them? We've got some time.
Oh yeah, well, okay, we'll take all the time to talk about all the different events. And again, really, probably again, you know, back to the point that, you know, we're not just a park. You know, we've been recognised in a recent strategy that Sefton Council have done that we are the borough, Sefton's premier outdoor event space, and we are. You know, we're a park. We're an outdoor event space. Really, we're not obviously like Botanic Gardens or Hesketh Park, aesthetically pleasing. We are aesthetically pleasing in terms of we're tree-lined avenues. You know, and again, the fact that we are not, you know, the council run. We are totally independent. We're charity. I get no other money from your council tax, as we mentioned. We are totally independent. All the money from the flower show and hiring the park out for other events, that's the only money I've got to pay the wages, cut the grass, to put the flower show on every year. And we've been a charity for 35 years. So it's important we do events as well. We do also hire the park out occasionally for caravans, okay, which I know not many people are happy with, but we have to. Again, it's an income stream, and without an income stream, you know, we don't run a show, we don't run the events. The grass will be, you know, 10 metres high, the bins will be overflowing, and it wouldn't happen. So we have to put events on. We have to have that income as well. But what's really important, Lizzie, is that making sure that the events are really diverse as well. You know, and you know, we do host, as we talked about again in the break, about the Food and Drink Festival. So we work very closely with Sefton Council, and although they run the event, and credit to them, last weekend, when it was, whenever this is recorded, it was a fantastic event. The fireworks is a great event. The air show is a great event, and the council run that, but we support them. So again, without the park being in good condition, without us helping them set a few things out, and working with them closely, being on there to just support what they do.
Yeah.
And we'll take a little bit of credit, but the credit's to the council. But when we hire it out to other events, it's great because it's all income, but they've got to be run well, because again, it's reputation on the park, on the flower show, on the town. If you have a really poor event, it's not good for any of us. And the whole point of us doing all these events, which I'll just touch on, is, our mindset is two things, if I may just go into this. 51% of my mindset and the team, we've got a job to do. Yeah. We've got to look after the charity, which is Southport Flower Show. We've got to look after the brand. We've got to look after the park, and there's nobody more dedicated than my team and I to do that. I'll argue that with anybody, that we're so keen to do the best for Southport Flower Show, do the best for the park. But the other mindset, 49% of certainly my mindset, is of what we do on the park and at the flower show, we do for Southport.
Yeah.
And for the area and for the region as well. To bring all these people into the park, this year with all the events, we're probably going to get about 500,000 people through our gates.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, the worth to the economy with the events, in the millions, is fantastic.
Phenomenal.
But again, without these events, again, different events. So, this year already we've had a car show called the Extreme BHP that was in May. Bank holiday, attracted a couple of thousand people. Yeah. We've got the summer solstice music event. Yeah. That's coming up on the 20th, of June. Again, it may have happened when this goes out already. Depends on the timings. But we've got a CrossFit event at the end of July.
Is that the Conquer the Coast one?
Conquer the Coast. With Tim and Josh from Coastline CrossFit. Fantastic. That's just grow and grow and grow. Yeah, we are actually being used this year as well, and again, pending when this goes out, we are the official campsite, Victoria Park, for the Open Golf.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's great. And again, it's supporting a town, supporting a global event. We're going to be on the world stage. Southport this year. That's really important, with a different hat on. That's really important about the town and how we use that to our benefit, and really kind of tell people in Southport and the world that Southport's more than other things. Really is.
100%.
So that's really
and like
important.
you say, they're coming in from all over the world. That's not just a regional thing anymore, or a countrywide thing. The name Southport is going to go back and go, we went, we either stayed in the park or we stayed and we went to Birkdale, we went into the Southport Town Centre. Yeah. It's starting to tell that tale now of, and it's going further afield. Yeah. And I think there's obviously a lot of story there, and obviously with various boards I sit on for probably maybe a different time and a different interview that we mentioned. But that's really exciting. I'm really keen to get involved in the future of Southport and what we can deliver. But again, that's probably another story. It is another story. But going back to the park, your vision for that though is big live music events. You are on the hunt. You are very much going to, and I believe you. I think it's going to happen probably a lot sooner than what people will think. But these things do take time. And,
they do. Yeah.
Southport is creating its own identity, and you want to be there in Victoria Park, showcasing that you are an event space for live music. And you've got, is it now capacity of 15,000?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we've increased our capacity of 15,000. Again, look at all the events we do. The Food and Drink Festival, bringing in the thousands, the Flower Show, the thousands, the Air Show, the fireworks, the other events we do as well. They may not be the 15,000s, but, the Comedy Festival, Southport Comedy, brilliant event, fantastic, for the town as well. And then Oktoberfest and various things and other car shows. We've got everything. The Mad Dog 10K is we are the home of it now. So we're trying to diversify. We want to bring as many different things in, but you're right. Music and live music has been certainly on my priority list for a while. We've been very, very close. I won't go into detail. Very close to bringing big names to the park over the last, since I've started, really. And conversations are still being had with various people at high level, various, other stakeholders, and national radio stations and things like that. So I won't go into it. We've been close. We just need that little bit of luck. Yeah. But I'm determined it will happen, because I feel that, we'd love to be the new Lytham. We've got potentially, sorry for our Lytham neighbours.
Don't come for us.
But we have,
we're trying.
But we can be, and obviously our neighbours in Bootle have the Salt and Tar and Lock and Key this year, and attracting big names supported by Sefton Council. People know, and people in the know our ambition and know my personal ambition for the park and for the town, that we want to have a big music concert, certainly in Southport. And, we're crying out for it. We just need that bit of luck, a bit of funding. I'd love to be able to do it ourselves. I can't, because we're a charity, but we need some support from either local authority or private investors who can support and bring big acts here, because then you look at the benefits for that, and it's not just about the high fee for the park and you know what good is for the prominence of the park and the engagement levels. It's not about that. It's about what that will do for Southport.
Yeah.
And you get people in hotels, you get people in the restaurants, you get people using our town and recognising our town, what it is. Music, concert, it's just going to blow them away.
Well,
so we're working on it.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I think, yes, look, I think the hard work that you're putting in and the team's putting in behind the scenes, you will get to the point, I believe, and I think this is how a lot of these things happen, where you get to the point where you're actually impossible to say no to, you know, and I think that's where it will come. And like you say, it is a bit of luck, but it's the hard work that's been going on for, you know, an extended number of years by a lot of people. And you'll be, you know, front row, probably, you know, dancing away to whatever band or performer you bring. And I think it'll be amazing. So people need to keep following the podcast. We'll get you on again when these big music events happen. If we can, we might have to go through your agent, who knows. But thank you so much for coming on. The time has gone so quick, but we're going to go to one final break before you come back and tell us where your favourite coffee spots are, favourite restaurants, and how you pretty much love to live in Southport. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
We want you. If you are a local business in Southport or the surrounding area, we have no preference. We would like to showcase your business. We are all about collaboration, supporting, and also showcasing what businesses have to offer. So if you want to be in this slot during the podcast, get in touch and let us make you shine. And we're back. These are your fast 5 questions, and we joke about this. This is a regular laughing feature because I don't do it quick. I'm the one that jabbers away in between, so it's meant to be fast. But thank you so much for coming on. I've absolutely enjoyed listening to everything that you've been saying about the flower show. So this is the segment now where we showcase a little bit more about you and what you enjoy, and that you're a human being. And you're not just the job and the flower show. So first question is, what is your go-to coffee order, and do you have a specific coffee shop that you like to go to?
I tend to have a skinny cappuccino first thing in the morning, full fat, as in fully caffeinated. Then I go on my decaf throughout the day with oat milk. So it's kind of one to start me going in the morning, and then the rest of the day just to keep the caffeine levels down before I get too hyper. I've used to love going into Season Cafe, but sadly that's gone with Michelle there. I do tend to stop off at a large, not independent stall in the mornings to get one there purely for convenience. But where we do like going is certainly the Vintage Tea Rooms in Churchtown. Lovely place there. The staff, the service, the food's great, and the coffee's good. So Vintage Tea Rooms, Churchtown would be our go-to place. Fantastic.
So we've talked about people coming in from all over the region into the Southport Flower Show, but if you were hosting one of those guests for the weekend, where is a go-to restaurant that you think you'd have to take them to? And that's hard. I don't even know how to answer the question myself, to be fair.
It's tough. I don't want to upset anybody.
No.
I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people in town, and I know a lot of friends who own restaurants and involved in the show. So I cannot. You know, if I miss saying you, I do apologise, because a lot of them are fantastic. But it depends on what you want. You know, but for me, obviously, you've got Volare, which is just an amazing restaurant. You've got Bistro Verity in Birkdale Village. Fantastic. But you know, then you go, if you fancy something different, you know, you've got the Himalayas, you've got Kailash. Kailash is amazing. It's just, there's so many, and it's just so difficult to say this is the best one, because they're not. They're all fabulous. And I agree. I personally think it's a very hard question, and I think, you know, when I came to the food festival the other day, I did a video where I said about what does Southport do well, and I think that is something that is a podcast, a whole podcast in itself, but that Southport is underestimated for its food scene. There are so many restaurants here, and you really could go from every cuisine.
up and down just Lord Street alone, never mind Birkdale and going into Churchtown and Ainsdale. There is so much. So I feel like you handled that question very, very well. One of the places that, one of the questions we do like to ask is, where is the place that you like to go for a walk? And it feels fairly obvious, but do you walk to work? Do you drive?
I walk to work most days, or I'll jump on the bike.
Yeah.
You know, I don't look fit, but I try to stay a little bit fit because it does take it out of you, the job. Obviously, Victoria Park is a lovely place to walk.
It is a lovely place to walk. But I
don't want to spend my spare time there, not that I have any, walking around the park on my days off, but when I have a day off, if I have a day off. But recently I went to Ainsdale Pine Woods.
Where you get to the bridge and go down by the train tracks.
Yeah, the Pine Woods, or the nature reserve there.
Yeah.
Took the grandkids, you know, 3 of them, and me and Sue. And it was lovely because there was nobody around. You know, it was just birds twittering, and then we got to the kind of the beach bit. Obviously, it was a long way to the beach, but we were still on the sand dunes, and it was just luxury, just heaven. Yeah. And again, being with the people who I love most, really, which is nice. Yeah,
fantastic. So. We know that you are a charity, but we tend to ask in this section if there's a community group or a charity or whatever it is that you just want to give a shout out to, raise some awareness. So I feel like we've raised a lot of awareness about sort of the flower show, but is there anything else that you're involved in that you just want to give a big shout out to?
Lizzie, again, it's a bit like the restaurant question. Really, that's a real tough one.
Yeah.
You know, because I work very, very closely with lots of the charities. You know, we know them all pretty well. Obviously, the ones that's come to prominence in recent years with the girls' charities.
Yeah.
And also those others linked to July 24. But also the long-standing ones. You know, we're in the past we've worked with Southport Lifeboat, Queen's Court. I think probably if anything, a shout out to Queen's Court. I know they're very well known. In the area, but I've done a few talks with Queen's Court, and I was, invited to speak at International Women's Day last year for them. But I think this year, certainly with the challenges that they've got with their finances, I think we've really got to probably focus a little bit on Queen's Court the next few years to support them. But there's so many other ones, the Dementia Cafe by the YMCA.
Yeah.
I mean, what Jenny and the team are doing there just to provide some support there is fantastic.
Yeah.
And we're going to work with them at the Flower Show this year and, try to get their garden area looking a bit nice.
Fabulous.
There's so many around town. Again, apologies to anybody who I know, but every one of them is worthwhile.
Yeah, fantastic. I suppose we touched on it there. Would you say that the walk at Ainsdale is then your hidden gem? That's sort of like being out in that space, or do you have something else that you want to just mention?
No, again, time is precious, and again, speaking people who know me, apart from the occasion, I like to just try to wind down with a nice gin and tonic in Birkdale Village occasionally, but not that often. I don't really have much time, really. It's a 24/7 lifestyle, the job. And although people tell me, and I get told off for not taking time off, but it's difficult, when you're managing such a huge event and such a valuable asset, and trying to do your best for people and trying to do the best for the town, and for the charity that a lot of people still don't really get. But I'm so dedicated, committed, as is my team, my wonderful team who support me. And the family, who support me as well, because without their support, I couldn't do what I do. But hidden gem, really, probably getting away. That Ainsdale one the other week was just fantastic, and there was no emails coming through. My phone was locked away in my wife's bag, and being with the grandkids and the 3 grandkids, it was just amazing. So I would recommend anybody to go for a walk down there. Fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. I feel like we got real insight into who you were and who you are, and how much you love your work. It does shine through. So thank you for taking your time away from the park today. It is currently raining outside, so I feel like we've saved you ever so slightly.
Thank you very much.
But thank you so much, and I hope to bring you back to the Green Couch here at Studio 9 very, very soon.
That's great. And thank you, Lizzie. And just to finish off, thank you, because obviously things that you guys do, and Mike behind the camera, and yourself, that kind of showcases people. I think that's really important for the town as well, because we can talk about it, we can do socials, we can do postings and the like. So actually talking to people, getting to the heart of who they are. We've got some fabulous people in this town,
100%.
Fabulous people in the town who actually want nothing more to see the town succeed. And I'll call on councillors for that. I'll call on Sefton Council on that, and they get a bad press. But also people who aren't involved in that, like myself. You know, we just want the town to thrive. Yourself for what you're doing and what Mike's doing. You know, it's really important. So keep up the good work and thank you.
Thank you so much. And just on that note, if you have been watching A Day in the Life, if you do want to come on the green couch, you can contact us, you can message us underneath the video and we will get in touch with you. The green couch is open to anybody. So thank you so much for coming on. Your story is fantastic. I love what you're doing down in the park. And for everybody that's watching, this is your ideal opportunity to share this with somebody that hasn't been to the flower show before. Share it with someone that is a lover of the flower show and wants to hear what's coming up in August. And if you've not been, get to the website, get one of those tickets, or go to one of those many locations where you can get one of those residence tickets as well. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you again soon. Bye.